What's good? What's good? What is good with everyone? What up, family? Hit the like button, show some love. I mean, show some love today. We got Jackson State versus Southern, the Jaguars. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a four-quarter game. I repeat, it's going to be a four-quarter game, but the strongest team will win. The smartest team will win. The team that creates more on offense will win this game. The team who wants it the most will win this game. Now, there's a couple of questions. Will Coach Prime coach against Southern? And yes, he may not be the X's and O's wizard. He may not be a Saban or anybody else, but he doesn't need to be. Folks really underestimate the power of motivation and grit. This is what Coach Prime offers to Jackson State. The energy that he has on the sidelines is infectious, a swagger. Look at the past couple of games. The defensive backs, and you can look at the numbers against Texas Southern, you would say, hey, they held them to 79 passing yards, which is good, but the quarterback missed some open throws. The best coach for DBs has been out. And if he can just coach this game, I don't know if he is, but if he could coach this game, it will be the spark they need. It will be the spark they need. But for JSU, there's one player on the defensive side of Southern that they have to slow down. Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis, in my opinion, is an NFL prospect. His motor does not stop. He's at 110 miles per hour every time. And they got to find a way to slow him down. This is going to be the toughest matchup for the offensive line this season. Now, the offensive line has improved. From week one to now, it's a lot better. John Ruffin says the game will be over by the end of the third quarter. JSU will prevail. Too much talent and desire. And don't forget, brother, Southern embarrassed Jackson State last spring. I'll be surprised if Jackson State does not have the same aggression and energy like they did against Alabama A&M, another team that put up a lot of points on them in the spring. Salute to the boy. It's your boy OZ. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't, anybody. Share the content and definitely like this video. I'm so excited for this matchup. Y'all just don't know. So excited. But Southern, their running game is lethal. They have a big offensive line. They're trying to move up in the West standings. Right now, they're third. Number 1 is Prairie View A&M. Number 2 in the West is Alcorn. So we're going to have Jackson State versus a desperate Southern team. And on top of that, we have Prairie View versus Alcorn. It gets nothing better than that. This is what we wanted HBCUs to be. Showcase. The talent of the SWAC is leaps and bounds better than what it used to be in years. It's not even close. Look at Florida A&M. They're 7-2, 5-1 in a SWAC, and they only lost to Jackson State by 1 single point. Alabama A&M is 5-3, and they look like they may finish the season 7-3. And you got Prairie View A&M 7-1. You got Alcorn 5-4, but they're 4-2 in the SWAC. And you got Southern, they're 4-5, 3-3. So a lot of competitive football. Ninzo Phillips says this is a bad matchup for SU. No, really, Jackson State, their worst enemy is themselves at times. When they chill out and play the way they need to play, that they know they're capable of, then good things starts to happen. Good things start to happen. The offense is in the flow. The last time Jackson State had a good first quarter, I mean, not a good one, but an excellent first quarter, is against Alabama A&M. But that's because they were pissed off. The coach was calling out Coach Prime, calling out the players, talking about recruit more 4 stars, 5 stars. And they played like a bunch of pissed out motherfuckers. I mean, it was no joke. But JSU has to do it all games, not just one. Terrence Ross in the building, he said, yes, they did. You think Coach Prime will coach? I say it's a 50-50 chance. And don't forget, this is a Coach Prime coach team. So what have you all have seen that's been a consistent? The consistent is JSU likes to make the last-minute announcement. So don't be surprised if they make a last-minute announcement that Coach Prime will be on the sidelines. You know, they love the dramatics. Good marketing, though. So I give it a 50-50 chance. Ninzo Phillips says, you have to have an outstanding quarterback play to beat Jackson State. Facts. I mean, outstanding. And your quarterback must but have the ability to run out of the pocket. If your QB is a standstill pocket passer playing against Jackson State, it's not going to be a good game. I don't care if he has the best arm possible. Because Akil Glass, some said, had the best arm in the conference outside of Shadir. And he didn't have the best game against Jackson State because that pressure was on him. Corinthia Bates, shout out to you, sister, says, where Lewis haven't seen him. I heard reports he may play in this game. Southern has dealt with a lot of injuries. So it's that type of season. I think they're a lot better than what their record is. They got a lot of athletes, a lot of players that transferred in from FBS schools. So this team has a good roster. It's just one of those seasons where the injury bug has really, really hurt this team. Mr. Blur 21 says, be a part of Black owned Los Negros organic ultra platinum tequila coming soon. Yeah, support Black business. Support Black business. You already know what it is. Det Maddox says, really hope Coach Prime is back this week. Yeah, they need him, man. They need Coach Prime. Like, not only the energy in the sidelines, but the fans. I think the fans are engaged more on the Jackson State side when Coach Prime is out there. Nenzo Phillips says, ain't no dramatics. He not coaching this weekend. Man, I did listen to an interview from Coach Harrell, and shout out to HBCU Sports. He did talk about that it could be a chance that he come back. Given an inkling that he could come back this week. John Ruffin says, I was at the A&M game. They were coming off a bye. I believe JSU was hungry. Yeah, they were. It was personal to JSU. Very personal. I mean, it was no joke at all. K. Lofter says, QBs have to be capable of throwing on a run to beat JSU. Facts. So let me talk about Southern's quarterback. Now, we know they got the big offensive line, so he'll have some type of time to throw, not as much time as regular games because Jackson State, their D-line is lethal. Glendon McDaniel, so in the season he has 1,202 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. It's very impressive. The running game, Kobe Dillon, 530 yards, 8.2 yards a carry. Now, Jackson State has to bottle up Kobe Dillon. If not, it's going to be a long day. And I'm interested to see if they're going to use Ladarius Skelton in some packages. They haven't been utilizing him to his abilities. If Southern can use Ladarius Skelton in some ways, wildcat, slot receiver, running back, just have him on the field. Maybe some good plays could come about. And they have athletes at receiver. Marcus McClain, he averages about 14 yards a catch, very explosive. Be on the lookout for him. That's their deep threat. Jamar Washington is a solid receiver. Southern likes to run the ball, but when they throw it, it's on play action, on screen and rolls. Do not underestimate the receiver stats. These brothers can go. So the safeties of JSU, they got to be on their P's and Q's and make sure there's no misalignment, bad coverages, none of that. Mr. Blur says, thank you, fam. Appreciate that. Oh, absolutely. It's all love here at Raw Truth. Terrence Ross says, we have to be strong up front this week because Southern University has a great offensive line. So we have to stop the run. Yeah, you got to stop the run. Hey, I'm not a defensive coordinator. I know Coach Thurman is the best in the game in the FCS. But I will add this. Jackson State runs a 4-2-5 defense, meaning 2 defensive linemen, which Jackson State has an interior defensive end, Antoine Owens, and a defensive tackle in Quintus Miller. And then they have 2 edge rushers with James Houston and Niles Getty. And then their standard linebackers with Aubrey Miller as well as Keontae Hampton. And then you got the 5 DBs. How about Jackson State can add Contron Evans as the nose tackle, Antoine Owens as the standard defensive end, and Cornelius Miller as the D tackle. I will mix up that coverage. If Southern's going heavy, create a formation on defense that have more D tackles that match up with their size, and then with the pass rushing linebackers, you rotate it. See, this is what I would do if I'm playing a run heavy team. Jackson State actually has the personnel to pull that off. But the problem with Jackson State at times, and we love Jackson State, but sometimes they don't switch it up, especially on defense. They've done it a few times. They went zone a few times. But I'm telling you right now, put your heaviest D lineman in, about 3 of them. You keep one pass rushing linebacker out there, and it will bode well. Trust me. Because this is not a spread team. This is a run-first team in Southern. And again, I'm telling you, they're going to be desperate. Shout out to Michael Jenkins. He says you must eliminate the run game for Southern and make them one-dimensional. Southern quarterback is not accurate. Yeah, he's not all that accurate, even though he only has 2 interceptions. But I think the run game helps with those stats where when Southern actually does throw the ball, teams are giving the receivers cushion because they don't want to get gashed on the run. Mr. Sonic Boom, one in the house. He says, why you say the fans are more engaged with Coach Sanders? Just me looking at the game, and again, I'm not at the stadium, so that's a fair question. But I think it's the aura of Coach Prime. Every time Coach Prime is around, like, it's an extra jolt of energy. That's the way I feel. I looked at a video. It was homecoming, and Coach Prime was just walking around, and if anybody came up to him, he showed them love. There was so much energy there and love and joy that this is why I feel Coach Prime would be staying at Jackson State for a while, because there's no type of love like the love you get from your people. Mr. Sonic Boom says, I agree with you. There's no type of love you get like you do with your people. When your own embraces you and appreciates what you have done as a coach, it's nothing better than that. And plus, Coach Prime has more power with HBCU, SWAC, in the school he's at now. He won't be able to get that with TCU. TCU is how FBSs are, PWIs, shot jock boosters, controlling booster club aficionados. You got to deal with all that, and people telling you what to do who are not of your culture. And I truly believe that Coach Prime, he doesn't want to deal with that. The only reason why his name was up for the TCU job is because LaDainian Tomlinson, who was a good friend of Coach Prime, put his name in the coaching search. That's about it. Mr. Sonic Boom 98 says 42 watching and 9 likes. Like and share. Yeah, hit the like button. Hit the like button. I need about 40 plus likes to get the algorithm going, so we can have more people in the panel. Now I'm going to send a link, so if anyone wants to jump on, they can jump on and have an educated conversation. Tell me what you think about this game. Let me know. Mr. Sonic Boom 1 says TCU is a Christian school. They won't allow him to be flamboyant. Facts. They will not allow Coach Prime to be Coach Prime. Because it's the game within the game, brothers and sisters. And if you know the game within the game, when they give these black coaches, our fellow brothers, uh, a head coach position, you see the head coach got to act different. He can't even be himself. He can't even dance. He's got to be a stickler. And that's not a good fit. It's not a good fit. When you can't be yourself as a black man, that is tough to do. I don't care how much money they give you. And I think Coach Prime is one of those strong brothers who's not going to allow anyone to silence him. I truly feel that way. Sonic Boom C98 says we need that fire back from Alabama A&M, that fire and focus. Facts. I want to see some real hitting. Safeties. Jackson State safeties. I repeat, Jackson State safeties. Can we please stop the missile tackling? Wrap up. Wrap up. If I'm Coach Thurman, I'm doing a tackling circuit all game, all day, 5 days this week. I'm doing nothing but tackling circuits. The running back of Texas Southern hurdled the safety, and shout out to Shiloh. Shiloh has been making plays this year, but his only weakness is he likes to launch, and you can't always do that because what if a big tight end who's athletic is matched up on him? He catches a flat route, and let's say Shiloh is like diving in with his shoulder instead of wrapping up. He's either going to jump over him or break the tackle and go for a touchdown. They got to stay disciplined in the tackling area. Keezer Cinema says, yes, sir, I was in Baton Rouge for Southern Homecoming. Shout out to Southern, man. Southern has the facilities, I believe, in the SWAC, the culture, the history, the fan base. I love the Southern fans. They love their school. They have what you need to be successful. And I'm not a proponent of saying coaches need to be fired and all that stuff. That's not my place. But I will say this. Southern can be better. Southern can be better than what they are right now. They have what you need to be successful. It's just gotta click. Any head coach would love to coach Southern. You got the offensive line, the running backs, the D line. Shoot. Man, the fan base. K. Lofton says the Southern coach has too much pride to start Skelton. Yeah, I'm seeing that. Gotta take that pride away. Use Skelton. You just seen Texas Southern have 200 plus rushing yards against Jackson State by running them. I'm telling you, look at the film. You better use Skelton. If Southern doesn't use Skelton for any capacity in this game, then they're not trying to win. That's what I believe. Nicholas Malachi says Jackson State 35-21. That could happen. It will be a hard fought game unless Jackson State takes it as serious as they did against Alabama A&M, which they tell themselves they fed up and they want to make a point. See, when Jackson State gets in that I'm trying to destroy a team mode, they're very, very tough to beat. Sonic Boom C98 says TCU is not really a step up anyway. Him having success as Jackson State is better for media story. You're right about that. Because if Coach Prime was ever at TCU, which I don't see happening, even if he has a winning season, it will not mean much as him changing the culture for all HBCUs. That's more of a legacy impact than any PWI could afford Coach Prime. It's not even close. What Coach Prime is doing is trying to set a ripple effect on all these schools, these SWAC schools, MEAC, you name it. K-Loss says Nicholas Malachi. The only way Southern will put up 21 points is JSU getting a number of pass interference calls. Yeah, good point there. Sonic Boom 1 says Shiloh wraps up in practice, but in games he hits. I feel that Shiloh's only doing that in the games because I think he has a joy of just getting that recognition of the headhunter, the headache game CEO. I got to make this big hit to be on the hit highlights. I got to make the wild play so I can possibly be on Sports Center or any media conglomerate. If he just wraps up and does what he does in practice, I think he'll be just fine. See, I'm not going to be like these other content creators and down a brother. I'm not going to do that. I know Shiloh, he may not be the best coverage guy, but he has made plays. And he's a leader. Sonic Boom 98 says the whole team tackled terrible last 2 games. Way too many sacks and tackles for loss we messed up on. Facts. Got to clean that up. Because Southern will make you pay for a missed tackle. Melvin Goodwood says, how would the transfers handle SU game time environment? Good question. I seen an interview with James Houston and Keith Corbin. They both played at FBS schools and produced. Keith Corbin had 800 yards during a full season, I think 2019 for University of Houston. And James Houston was a starter for Florida. Had a good game against Alabama in the SEC championship game. He talked about he's used to an environment, but he did point out it will be different because this is a big environment of our culture, our people, and a heated rivalry. So it's going to be a different vibe. He admitted that. So I'm interested to see. I think some of the players who are battle tested will handle it just fine. Antoine Owens played in big crowds at Georgia Tech. I guess especially against Clemson and Florida State when they were really good. But the younger players, it's a wait and see approach. Shout out to the brother Urban Network. He is a FAMU fan, a good brother. A good brother. He says the SU coach is an intern. Yes, he's an intern. And since you pointed that out, brother, they may hire a new coach. Now, word on the street is Southern doesn't want to hire a quote-unquote celebrity coach. But here's what I can tell them. If you're a Southern fan listening, I want you to hear me clearly. I know you got pride, and you want to be the only SWAC school without a celebrity coach. But a coach like Coach Prime, he actually earned his stripes. He was coaching high school for years. And there's a lot of high school coaches that move up into the FBS and become head coaches. Gus Malzahn was a high school coach, and many others. So it's happened before. Ed Reed is a chief of staff of Miami. So he's learning the ins and outs from Manny Diaz, the head coach of Miami. So he's seen it all. The chief of staff is responsible for organizing the team and the vision of how they should look. Miami is looking a lot better. They found a good quarterback, Van Dyke. The team is clicking. If Southern hires Ed Reed, I'm telling you right now, their recruiting is going to skyrocket. Ed Reed will be able to hire excellent coaches, especially coaches that come from NFL backgrounds, just like Coach Prime has. And he doesn't have to have the pizzazz of Coach Prime, but he does have the numbers. He does have the phone numbers to hit up any coach around and say, hey, you want to join the coaching staff at Southern? We got the offensive line. We're going to get. I'm telling you, when they go into the transfer portal, just imagine if Ed Reed is coaching Southern. They go into the transfer portal. They're going to get kids out of Miami, Tallahassee, Orlando, and put speed all over the field. I talked to some people who are, Jackson State alumni or Prairie A&M alumni. My father's alma mater at Prairie A&M. We've talked about this before, like me and my friends and homies who tune into the show, and they all admitted if Southern got Ed Reed, that's going to have a big impact in the SWAC. It's it's going to be it's like Urban Network said, they hired Ed Reed. SU will be Florida built team. Yes, they will. Now they'll sprinkle in some New Orleans kids in there, but when you get that Florida talent, brother, I'm from Texas, as you all know. We got to admit, Florida, you get that elite Florida talent, you're going to go somewhere. You got to have some Florida talent, man. Look at Jackson State, nothing but Florida guys. I remember I was looking at a page. They was hating on Coach Prime, talking about he needs to recruit more Mississippi athletes. He's always recruiting Florida athletes. But look at the results. You get wins when you recruit Florida. There's a couple states you have to recruit to improve the talent level. Florida, Texas, Louisiana, California. Those are the 4 states. Florida, Texas, Louisiana, California. If Southern gets Ed Reed, and I know Coach Rollins, he's a good brother. I listen to his interviews, but he is an intern coach, so it's nothing against him. We got almost 70 people in the chat. Make sure to hit the like button. But I'm telling you, that Florida talent, that pipeline going to Southern, it's going to be a dangerous team. They're going to be very dangerous. And they will, mark my words, if Southern, you're hearing from me now, if Southern gets Ed Reed, I guarantee you it will have a Jackson State-like impact. Because here's what a lot of people don't know about Ed Reed. He was mentored in coaching because, remember, he was assistant DB's coach for the Jets and Bills when what's it, Bob Ryan or Buddy Ryan was coaching that team. When the Ryan brothers was coaching the Bills, he was assistant DB's coach. So guess what defense he's going to be running if he has a Southern job? He's going to run that same Jackson State defense. And he will have the horses to run it to perfection. And he'll have the defensive assistants from the NFL to join this team. All those pro offensive line coaches, defensive line coaches, DB coaches that come from the NFL that's in Jackson State, it will look just like that at Southern. I guarantee you. So take that pride out. Take the pride out. Get you Ed Reed. Like the brother Juice TV says, Florida athletes mixed with Louisiana athletes equal elite. I repeat, elite. I'm here to say right now, I'm a big fan of Coach Prime. But if Southern gets Ed Reed, I can't guarantee Jackson State FAMU to win the SWAC. I'll be like, that's going to be tough. We got to wait and see. We're going to have a wait and see approach. Dennis Sterling, Smith Sonic Boom One says Dennis Sterling was a DC while Rex Ryan was head coach with the Jets. Facts. And when Rex Ryan coached the Bills, Ed Reed was a defensive backs coach for the Bills. So that's why I'm getting tired of the name celebrity coach, because Ed Reed has earned his stripes. He is coached in the NFL. Oh, this is a fun conversation, man. I'm loving it today. I'm loving the energy. I'm loving the synergy. Hit the like button, share this video. It is all love, man. So I'm gonna catch up on these comments. Sonic Boom 98 says we got to easily shoestring tackle on offense. Uh, Melvin Goodwood says, how will I already answered that. Jacktown says, what's up with Southern fans not showing up this year in mass numbers? Uh, some would tell you that they've shown up enough, but I have heard some Southern fans say they could do better in attendance. Here's the reality. When a team is not winning to the level that they're accustomed to, they're going to contemplate and say, well, should I show up in this game? And then decide to stay home and watch it on their TV. That's just the reality of sports. Now, Southern will pack out that stadium against Jackson State. You better believe it, my brother. Mr. Sonic Boom 1 says JSU averaged 32K in 2019 after the losing seasons. SU averaged 16,000 plus with a winning record. So their fan base, okay, but not like JSU and Southern. JSU and not like JSU and FAMU. JSU and FAMU are the cream of the crop when it comes to attendance, fanfare, media presence. FAMU is doing the damn thing. They're sponsored by LeBron James. When you think of FAMU, you think of the brand. Their brand is national, and that's why you see a big time transfer going to FAMU, and you look, how did they get that? And then you really observe and say, because they're FAMU. Didn't have to do any extra marketing or anything. They're just FAMU. They're just like that. Haitian Slim, what's good, my brother? Says Shield knows how to wrap up. Shallow knows how to wrap up and use the hit stick when necessary. On coverage, he was pure safety. Who knows what to do with the ball when it's in his hands? Headache game. And shout out to Shallow. You know, we know how Shallow is important to the team. It's just sometimes he just got to realize he doesn't have to go for the kill shot all the time. Just wrap up, and good things will happen. Urban Network says our FAMU house stay packed at Sonic student section and all. Yeah, FAMU has been even from the worst of years and for the best of their seasons. FAMU does support their team. I do agree with that. Nicholas Malachi says, got to go ahead and say my prediction next week: JSU 48, Alcorn 17. Here's the thing with that, brother. That's going to be a rivalry game, and it won't be an easy feat. And Alcorn's trying to win the West, so they're going to be desperate. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like that, unless Jackson State just somehow just snap out of this funk they're in and just play Jackson State football. K. Lofton says Southern is in trouble because JSU can move the ball just as good as Troy. Shadur might throw over 400. Now, Shadur Sanders is 8 touchdowns away from tying Casey Thurl's record, which is 31, and he's 9 touchdowns away from passing it. So I still want Jackson State to focus on trying to win, not trying to get that record. But if he gets the record, I wouldn't be totally surprised. He would need a game where he had 5 touchdowns one game, and then the next game 4 touchdowns at least. But for him doing this as a freshman is impressive. Urban Network says, who can SU hire that will replace Odom? Persona and what he built at SU. What Coach Odoms did for SU, I know They didn't win like a bunch of SWAC championships or celebration bowls. But he built a winner there, and that's difficult to replace. But if they could get an Ed Reed and bring that Florida, Louisiana connection at Southern, they're going to be a team to behold of. Just my gut. Mr. Sonic Boom says Southern FAMU only had 50K last week. JSU lowest game was 26K. Same as this year. Our lowest game is 27K. Urban Network says they hire Ed Reed. SU will build a Florida team. The Florida Jaguars. It'll be the Southern to the Florida Jaguars. Mr. Sonic Boom says, I want SU to get Ed Reed along with Dion, and also hearing former Tennessee State Rod Reed will become head coach at Alabama State. That'd be a good pickup. A shout out to Tennessee State. I know they lost to the number 10 team in the country, UT Martin, but if you watch that whole game, they were in it. Actually, I watched UT Martin, and Jackson State can beat them, especially if they play their game. They could beat UT Martin. That game was not a blowout. Now it may look like it as a score. It reminds me of the of the Jackson State Southern game, Texas Southern game. My bad. When you look at the scoreboard and you see that Jackson State won the game 41-21 against Texas Southern, in reality, that game was closer than what the scoreboard indicates. But shout out to Eddie George. He's doing a fantastic job. Remember, he came in the recruiting game late. I mean, he didn't even get to recruit his type of guys. So I'm really interested in seeing that. Hugh Jackson, if anybody's looking for a head coach in the SWAC, Hugh Jackson will be an excellent pickup. Deb Maddox says, a coach having Florida connections is huge. That's why FAMU and Jackson State will run the SWAC. Hey, man, you got to go in Florida. If you want to win, you got to go in Florida. You got to get them dogs. Trust me, I want a lot of colleges to get Texas kids. But if they pick a Florida kid over a Texas kid, I can't get mad at that. And I know we got talent here. We're top 3 in the country. The state of Texas is in talent. Top 3, top 4. But like I said, Florida got them dogs, man. Urban Network says O-line, Big 12, D-line, SEC, pipeline states. Facts. Like the late great DMX once said, it's going to be a pretty sight. It's going to be a pretty sight. Mr. Sonic Boom says Mississippi has the top JUCO talent in the country, but a lot of them run to the FBSs only to transfer into a FCS. Facts. Trust me, I would like Jackson State to get the best talent out of Mississippi. But if a talented Florida kid or a Texas kid or a California kid or a Louisiana kid wants to go to Jackson State, man, you'll take that athlete over some Mississippi athletes, unless the Mississippi athlete is that dude. Trust me, Mississippi got talent. Like you said, the JUCO system is where it's at. They usually go to SEC schools all the time. D. Hurdler says Prime is vibrational differently. Yeah, he's bringing the vibe back to the SWAC. Shout out to the homie Real Talk. Peace and blessings, my brother. Peace and love. He says Southern seems to be allergic to celebrity coaches. I assume too many egos don't want them challenging. And here's what Southern got to realize, man. You will not be looked down upon if you get a quote unquote celebrity coach. Because if you're winning and you're getting players drafted and you create a new culture, nobody's going to be making fun of your university. They're going to be like, wow, this university was smart. You get an Ed Reed. Let's say you get an Ed Reed. You know he's going to bring the coaches. He probably going to hit up Rex Ryan and say, hey, you know any NFL coaches that matches the system that I want to do on defense? And they'll get some NFL names to be defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators. Then they're going to get the transfers in the transfer portal. You already know that Ed Reed has a fantastic relationship with Miami athletes. He's at the University of Miami, the U. And let's say there's a disgruntled player that didn't like how he was used at Miami. And he wants to go where Ed Reed goes. That's more talent. Look at Miami's recruiting class. Miami had a lot of talented DBs recruit to University of Miami because of Ed Reed. What's his name? Avante Williams. He came to Miami because of Ed Reed. He was a 5-star safety. So he knows how to recruit. Shout out to Georgia. They got them athletes too. Can't forget about Georgia. Georgia is one of the most underrated states in talent. Mr. Blur 21 says, I would rather play for a coach that played in the NFL before a coach that never played in the NFL. Facts. So this is not like a coach who didn't earn his stripes. I believe Ed Reed has earned his stripes. I believe Ed Reed has put in that work. Mr. Burns said, Mr. Blur 21 said, I played in the NFL. And as you know, the NFL is a man's game, man. Like it's a grind out there. And I always salute any athlete that made it to the NFL. What is it, a 1.8 chance for an average human being to make the NFL? It's tough. So salute to you, Mr. Bird 21, for making the NFL and doing your thing. But this weekend is really going to be a battle. Expect some hitting. Expect some just physical play from both teams. Southern, I truly feel they're going to be desperate. And if they use Ladarius Skelton, I'm gonna have a grin and say, all of a sudden, they choose this game to finally use Skelton. If they do that, by the way. Shout out to Coach Simmons, a good brother who knows HBCU, SWAC football, SWAC sports in general. Subscribe to his channel and support all these content creators, whether it's my channel, Coach Simmons, SWAC Buzz, the CFL podcast. Shout out to him. Off script, Cut Day Sports. It's all love, man. Mr. Sonic Boom has 40-21 Jackson State. Okay, Coach Simmons has 35-15 Jackson State beating Southern. Real Talk says, did LeBron ever show up to a FAMU game? I don't really know. If anyone is a fan of FAMU, let me know. Did LeBron ever show up to one of y'all games? I know he's supporting FAMU, but I would like to see some of these NBA players, NFL players. I know some of the NFL players do it. Go to these HBCU games and support. I think these brothers deserve that. Coach Simmons says there will be a fight or two this weekend. You ain't lying, my brother. You are not lying. Corey Lee, what's good, my brother, says Shadur has possibly 4 more games to break the touchdown record. I think they're only the touchdown record is a regular season award, unless they count the SWAC championship game. Aaron Sanders is Texas and Florida. Dion has connections with both. Facts, facts, facts. Urban Network says Big 12 recruits Texas, Oklahoma, JSU, Southern get those recruits over. Texas, Southern, PV, et cetera, et cetera. But that Southern head coach has to be aggressively in recruit game because Prime is going to come and pull them all. Yeah, I'm just hearing rumors, man. You hear rumors about recruits and these they're saying the transfer portal for Jackson State is going to be even better this year than next year. And Coach Prime had an interview a month or two ago because they was talking about recruiting, and he admitted that the high school recruiting number for JSU is going to be smaller than last year because so many players want to join Jackson State. When he said that, I said, "Oh, man, I have a feeling it's just a hunch, and I truly believe this is going to happen. There's going to be a couple names where we all didn't expect Jackson State to get a player of a certain caliber to eventually be in that roster. I think people underestimate, not all, but a lot of folks underestimated how Coach Prime has these top-notch connections, man. And like you said, I think it was Urban Network, Southern they have to join a board, man. Because not just Jackson State, but FAMU is recruiting well. And I'm telling you now, don't be surprised if FAMU gets a real deal quarterback in this transfer portal. If FAMU gets a quarterback who has played FBS games, who can run a little bit, throw efficiently, that does wonders for not only their team, their offense, but their trajectory of winning. There's nothing like having a quarterback who has good game. Now, for FAMU, I know we're talking about Jackson State and Southern, but I want to point this out. The next quarterback FAMU finds, he doesn't have to be a Shadur or Jawan Pass. But what he has to do is just have experience, make the right play. That's all he has to do. And they could find that in the transfer portal. Coach Simmons, okay, I read that one. Urban Network says Uncle Luke in a 2 Live crew for Coach T. Do the Brown. It'd be a party every night. Both teams, Eddie Powell says, Coach Simmons, both teams will play with a level of, but both know that they can go. It all depends on JSU's want to. We have all seen when JSU is clicking, they have number one, they have the type of offense, especially the receivers, to get on runs. Malachi Wyman is a beast right now. Shane Hooks just came back, and he looked really good against Texas Southern. He's getting healthier, and I expect him to look better in the next 2 games. The running game is picking up. Pickett finally showed up. Shout out to Pickett. Shout out to the offensive line of Jackson State, man. These past 2 games, they've stepped up. The pass blocking has done leaps and bounds better than what it has in previous weeks. So kudos to them. And what did I tell you about J.D. Martin? J.D. Martin is the truth. And when he gets showcased the way he needs to be next season, he's going to have a breakout year. Coach Simmons says, much love, brother. Peace and love to you too, Coach Simmons. Mr. Sonny Boone says, please don't forget Coach Walker, who does a great job of breaking. Yeah, and I'll always give him props on this show. Shout out to Mall Leader Sports Network. Uh, this brother, he knows his HBCUs with the best. Very underrated channel. That channel, Coach Walker's channel, should have about 50,000 subs. That's how much knowledge he has about the SWAC, MEAC, and other HBCUs, man. Subscribe to that, brother. Darren Jennings says Coach Prime turned around JSU around less than a year. Therefore, a celebrity hire does work. It does work. The celebrity hire works. But again, these universities, man, it's all that ego. It's about winning. It's not about being a prestigious school, quote unquote. Mr. Sonic Boom 1, come on, brother. But I don't blame you. He said, I can't lie. I've already booked my rooms for the celebration. You ain't the only one. You ain't the only one, brother. But shout out to Jackson State fans, man. It's crazy. When Jackson State was losing for 6 straight years, like a lot of folks, you look at the message boards, you name it, was making fun of JSU. All of a sudden, they're winning. And now it's like they can't even. It's like people are telling them not to, they're bragging about their team too much. Well, you're supposed to do that, especially when you've been losing. You're supposed to rep your team. I just think that shit is lame. That's just my opinion on it. Corey Lee says it's a single season, which includes all games, championships, and bowl. Oh, I'm glad I'm glad you said that, brother. So Shadir does have a chance to break that record. He needs 9 touchdowns to break it. Jacktown says, last time I was at Southern, a man was doing number 1 by the railroad tracks out of the open. Oh, man, you know that's the hood. It didn't give a damn, huh? Nicholas Malachi said, Phil Ross TV, I feel Mississippi has underrated receiver and running backs. Yeah, Mississippi has talent. Everyone just pointed out that Florida's the top dog in talent, which is not bad to say at all. It's the truth. Shout out to Yusuf for the Cash App and not Cash App, but Super Chat to help grow the nation out. He said, once this year's JSU players get drafted, this will open the floodgates for recruits. Man, you ain't not lying about that. That's really going to tip the scale. Now, I would love for at least 3 to 4 Jackson State players to get drafted this year. But if 2 gets drafted, even if 1 gets drafted, because remember, there was no HBCU players drafted last year. But they better not let one, if they let 1 or 2 Jackson State players get drafted, man, so many recruits are going to call up his phone. They're going to call Coach Prime's phone. They're going to be like, what's that girl's name on Players Club? Not Diamond, but what's that girl's name? The bad one, the one that got in trouble a lot. You know, when she said, when do I start? That's what these recruits are going to be like. They're going to be like, when do I start? Oh, yeah, James Houston, he better get drafted. He almost got the sack record, too, for JSU. I think it was like 12 sacks. Like, players I see that could get drafted this year. I'm talking about this year. James Houston, Antoine Owens could get drafted. Now, some people are telling me Aubrey Miller. I got to see more in coverage. Like Aubrey Miller, I think he'll at least get invited to a camp. DeJohn Nugget Warren, if he decides to go to the draft, I know he doesn't have an interception, but DeJohn Nugget Warren, he has a difficult job of playing straight up man-to-man on a cover 0, cover 1 defense. That's impressive. He shuts down his side of the field. These teams don't like going on his side. The only time he get a couple catches on his area is if they're scooting back the DBs, allowing the receivers to catch. That's about it. But Dejon Nugget Warren, if he goes to the draft this year, remember, he could come back next year. He's a beast. I truly believe that as a cornerback, I'm not talking about an overall DB. As a cornerback, I think Dejon Nugget Warren is the best cornerback in the FCS. Because a lot of these corners are playing zone and not having the responsibility. Dejon Nugget Warren, by shutting down his side, helps that Jackson State defense. Keontae Hampton, I think he will be an undrafted free agent, just like Aubrey Miller. But here's the bright spot about Keontae Hampton, because I love his story. Keontae Hampton stayed with Jackson State despite all the transfers coming in. And he fought, and he earned his spot. He didn't leave when it got tough. And I think he should be rewarded for that. He will stay on an NFL team, even if he's an NFL free agent, because he's a hard worker. You can use him on special teams, and he's coachable. And Coach Thurman is well respected in NFL circles. So when they call up Coach Thurman and say, "What about Keontae Hampton? What can you say about him? He's reliable. He's coachable. He doesn't complain." A coach is going to be like, "Yeah, we may not draft Keontae, but we'll sign him to a camp. We'll look out for him because Dennis Thurman is a good man, and I coach with Dennis Thurman." That's how the NFL circle is going to be like. But there is a good chance that Jackson State could have 2 or 3 players drafted. Coach Palm is going to make that a point of emphasis. Facts, Sonic Boom. James Houston is an automatic draft pick. Yes, he is. Kay Lofton says the floodgates will be open if a JSU player gets invited to the combine. That's what I want to see. Not only JSU players should be invited to the NFL combine, I think Jordan Lewis of Southern should be invited. Like he's the truth. Jermaine Frank says JSU recruit top O-line, D-line next few years. There they are. Joey Jackson says, just because you were a great player doesn't mean you're going to be a good coach. Here's the thing, Joey Jackson. Respectfully, my brother. I would understand if Ed Reed didn't earn the stripes, but Ed Reed was coaching in the NFL. He was a DB's coach for the Bills with Rex Ryan. Now he's the chief of staff with Miami. And it has helped Miami get some real talented recruits. So he's just not a player, a former player who has not coached anything. He's coached before. He's coaching now. And I bet you one thing, if Ed Reed gets a Southern job, those DBs will be playing at a high level. Cole Simmons believes, he may be right. He's not even believing. He may be right on this. Shout out to Coach Simmons. He said Houston, Miller, and Hampton are locks to get drafted. That could happen. Hampton is the tweener. Hampton could get drafted, and he could be an NFL free agent, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hampton actually plays in the NFL because he can cover as a linebacker. Very stinkful. Darren Jenick says, bless you. He says, next year's JSU team is going to be better, way better. Oh, facts. Warren Newman, I think he's going to be a free agent. He's missed a lot of time, and he's very small. And if Warren Newman has to run low 4.3s and test out extremely well to be drafted. At least. He may have to run late 4.2s, which is difficult to do. That's how small he is. See, Tyreek Cohen, he was short, but he blew. I mean, he tore up the combine. And I don't think he's Tyreek Cohen fast. He Warren Newman is what you call quicker than fast. He's shifty. He got the jukes, but he's not a Tyreek Cohen kind of speed type of player. But I'm wishing for the best for Newman. Warren Newman is a good brother. K. Loftus says, guys, I honestly believe SWAC teams are in trouble because Coach Prime is on a different level. Yeah, this team is not even. I don't even think people realize. Just like FAMU's team, FAMU's team is going to be better next year. They're going to recruit better players, and this year's Jackson State team is going to be a lot better than this year. This is not even going to be the best Coach Prime team out of all the years he'll coach this university. Sonic Boom one says Jackson State played Texas State next year. Good. And Jackson State could win that game. I'll repeat, Jackson State could win that game. Cole Simmons says, imagine if Ed Reed's at Bethune-Cookman. If they got their stuff together, Newman may be on JSU staff next year. Yeah, Coach Prime did talk about, when he talked about Warren Newman, he said he's going to be, if he's not in the NFL, he's going to be successful at whatever he does, and he's going to make sure to look out for Warren Newman. He did say that. So I see Coach Prime. I wouldn't be surprised if he gives Warren Newman a coaching spot if he doesn't make the NFL or a job within his company. King Bennett says that boy Quay Davis going to be a monster. Quay Davis, man, y'all think Malachi Wyman is a problem. He is a problem. Quay Davis, man, this dude, the only reason why Quay Davis was not a 5-star is because it was a situation that happened. I'm not going to bring it up because it's none of my business. And they took a ranking off because when he was committed to USC at the time, he was a 5-star. And then a situation happened, and he went from a 5-star to a 4-star. But everybody and their mama wanted Quay Davis on their team. He is a true. He reminds me of Dez Bryant. When he played at Dallas Skyline 6A competition in Texas, matter of fact, he played against all the top DBs and won his matchups. He went to all the camps and dominated against all the top DBs. Those DBs you see, those freshman DBs you see in the SEC, he dominated them. So guess what he's going to be doing in the SWAC? I repeat, y'all better, if you're opposing SWAC team, you better recruit some DBs. I know FAMU will. They're in Florida. You know they're going to do it. Bethune is going to, depending how, Bethune could be a real sleeping giant if they figure their stuff out. We got 120 people in the chat. Hit the like button, share the video. This is a good day today. Jenny said, I forgot about Quay. Man, he is a beast, man. It's going to be trouble. Darren Jensen says, I see Cameron Summon getting drafted. We're talking about this year's draft, but the 2022 draft. Now, the drafts later on, 2024 and others, that's definitely going to be Jackson State out drafted. They're going to get some players drafted those drafts. King Lanier says, we need to see more of Josh Lanier, though, especially in the slot. I think he could do some work there. Antonio Bailey was good with it, brother. He said it's amazing seeing JSU grow. Their Instagram went to 15K to 90K followers in the span of a year and a half. That's good marketing, and it helps when you have Coach Prime. It truly helps. Tankface says, anybody heard of Rod Reed to Alabama State? Someone brought it up on the chat. I believe he was on the Tennessee State coaching staff. Correct me if I'm wrong. Coach Simmons says, Quay Davis, Rucker, Wyman, that is Power 5 level. Oh, my God. Just imagine that roster. And don't forget Allah Brown. Allah Brown, he's probably one of the fastest players on the team. And I saw him in a couple plays this season, and I see that he has the ability to take it to the house. They got 4 lethal receivers that could take it to the house. Man, you to play against Jackson State next year, you probably have to run some quarter coverage because they're gonna get their touchdowns. Oh, I could definitely see Newman in the CFL. They would love to welcome a talent like Warren Newman. It'd be a good underdog story. Mr. Sonic Boom says JSU will be letting go offensive line and quarterback coach at the end of the season. They will be making moves. One thing about Coach Prime, if he's not satisfied, he will make the moves. Chris Kelly says, Coach Simmons, add Jency to the list. He's going to be one of the players I'm going to be very excited of them incorporating on their offense. Riley Jency is a 6'5", 220-pound tight end, runs a 4.5, has a basketball background out of high school, can jump out the gym. Very, very underrated signing. He's going to be one of those players that comes onto the scene and making plays, and they're going to say, where in the hell did he come from? Riley Jency will make headway next season. Guarantee it. Imperial Nubia says Nugget is currently the fastest on the team. Yeah, he is. I'm talking about on offense. I'm talking about on offense on the receiver core. Allah Brown is one of the fastest. Yeah, he got speed, man. Yeah, Nugget's explosive. Trust me, you put Nugget in the combine, he gonna blow him away. he gonna break some records. Cause he's built like a pro. He's built like a pro. And a lot of teams want a quarterback like that, a cornerback like that. Coach Simmons says, what about the XFL? That is another thing. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson bought the XFL, as we all know. The XFL, before COVID ruined the season, it was a good product. There was fans showing up. It was way better than that. What was it? The AFL thing they was trying to do beforehand. The XFL has a good format. It's just that COVID ruined it. So it's coming back. That's going to give a lot of opportunity to athletes to make some paper. The GOAT, shout out to the GOAT. He said, let's talk about the sonic boom in the South to the human jukebox. I mean, that's why it's called the Boombox Classic. Hey, you're right. Who y'all got, man? Who y'all got? The sonic boom in the South or the human jukebox? Oh, man, it's going to be a battle of the bands, man. It's not only going to be a battle in the field, it's going to be a battle of the bands. Corey Lee says Warren and Brown are not the fastest. The kid that transferred a few. Oh, thank you for saying that, Corey Lee. What is that brother's name that transferred from Sam Houston State? He's the fastest on the team. Juliet. I can't really say his name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. That's the fastest on the team. I think that's the brother that ran like a 10-1, 100 meter, 10-2, 10-1-5 or something like that. The ghost said he got the sonic boom. Rep your school. Mr. Sonic Boom, as it fits with the name, he got, man, it's all about the sonic boom. Man, you hear, man, the sonic boom is so national. You just say it around. You go to the airport, you go to a grocery store, you mention a sonic boom. You got grandma and them say, oh, yeah, I heard them. They the truth. JSU Target says, love the boom. Imperial Nubia says, Nugget runs a 4.35. No one on the team has beat him. What about that transfer from Sam Houston State? He did run a 10-1 5. I forgot his name. I'm going to have to do some research on that. Yeah, Nugget does run a 4.3. I had a debate with somebody talking about, oh, he don't run no 4.3. I said, yeah, he does. You can tell by his coverage. Caleb Jovelet. That's his name. That joker is fast as hell. I can't believe Jackson State didn't use him enough. I mean, that brother's fast, man. Marcus Adams says the boom is on another level. Man, shout out to the band director of Jackson State. He trains his band like it's life, man. It's band is life to Jackson State. And I'm sure band is life to Southern and other universities in the SWAC. But, man, he's doing a damn thing. And he's worth every penny. Not that. 97 says, I'm JSU all the way. I bleed blue. The boom is amazing. I have to give the jukebox their props. They really good. Yeah, the jukebox is really good. I mean, there ain't no slouch. But I'm going to guarantee one thing. Whether it's the sonic boom of the South or the human jukebox, I guarantee you it will be entertaining all the way around. And that's what it's all about. It will feel like not only just a football game, but one big cookout. Jacktown said Caleb Jovelit. He said, LOL, that joker fast as hell. You know I'm from the South. Be like, that joker fast in the mud. He fast in the mud. Joe Eagle, I just researched Caleb Jovelit. This is facts. He did run a 4.28. He did run a 4.28. Now, Nugget is fast as hell, too. He runs what, 4.35, 4.38. But Caleb Jovelit is a track star. I wonder if he's going to be utilized more next season. Hey, DJ Wade, that's the truth. Caleb Jovelit, look at his track numbers. He is fast as shit, man. Well, he did run a 10-1 in the 100-meter. That's yeah, that's something. Shout out to the homie Prime Time. He said, good afternoon, brother. Peace and blessings. Marcus Adams said the Tubas is fire. Shout out to the Tubas. Shout out to the Tubas. Jacktown says that SU Throat Baby arrangement. Woo, woo. Man, y'all got me excited, man. I can't wait for the game. And ESPN, my message to ESPN and old media shines. Now, you've been talking about supporting HBCUs and SWAC. Please don't talk over the bands. Can you at least do that? I repeat, ESPN, please don't talk over the bands. We didn't come here to listen to you over critique these players in halftime. Please don't do it. That's all we ask for. Is that too much to ask, ESPN? Shout out to the brother Robert Gaddy. Shout out to your son, Mr. Gaddy, doing a fantastic job. And he's a sophomore. Now Gaddy got 2 more years or a year, because you never know. He balls out again like he's doing right now. The NFL is probably his future. But shout out to your son. He's doing his thing. And I was trying to tell people that this is one of the few times where Niles Gaddy has one-on-one coaching. He didn't have that in Tennessee. Now he's having that in Jackson State, and you're seeing his talent. See, the Jackson State defense is what it is because they work as a team. Nobody is bigger than the team. James Houston, Niles Gaddy, Dejon Nugget Warren, Shiloh, Antoine Owens, Cornelius Miller, and many others had transformed this defense to what it is now. Did you look at the defense in the spring? The defense in the spring had no life, was getting scored on constantly. These brothers transformed the culture of JSU and brought back the dark side defense. So, Mr. Gaddy, I salute to you. For those who don't know, Robert Gaddy, he played for Alcorn. I think he played, and I may be wrong, didn't he play with Steve McNair? But he was an offensive lineman, talented player. And now his son is contributing and doing this thing at Jackson State. So salute to you, brother, man. And thank you for joining the show. Appreciate you. Joe Eagle says he is in the class of 2023, believe. JSU Tiger says, I like the gray uniforms. I like that too. That's clean. Jacktown says, when I saw how locked in Gaddy was at scrimmage over the summer, I wanted to go and tackle my boss. Oh, yeah. That was Gaddy, man. He got that look like he want to be somebody's you-know-what. You need some Rough Riders on your team. You need Rough Riders to win games, man. And this is why I see why Coach Prime and many on the coaching staff, they're a big fan of his. Because you could tell he loves football. He loves football. Robert Gaddy says, I also played in the NFL, and the guys I played against in the SWAC were better ball players than a lot of guys I faced in the Power 5 school. That's a fact. And a lot of us, some are young, some are, around that time, but in the 90s, you could do your research for those who are listening. The 90s produced so many talented SWAC athletes. It's crazy. That was the renaissance of high-quality SWAC players. I mean, look at the list. Go look at all the players drafted from the SWAC in the 90s. Darren Jenner says, I like that gray also. Yeah, that gray is clean. Jeffrey Harris says, JSU better at situational football this year than in the spring. That's because they're more disciplined. And they could be even better. JSU Tiger says, JSU wearing the gray uniforms against Alcorn. Woo, woo. That's going to look clean. And shout out to Alcorn. I know they lost to Bethune-Cookman, but here's the thing. Let's give them a benefit of the doubt. Bethune-Cookman is not your normal 1-18. Bethune-Cookman could have easily been 6-2. They could have easily been. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen watching football. Like, they'll be so close to win a game, and then something bad will happen. Bethune-Cookman was only blown out in 2 games. UCF, which is understandable, they're UCF, and Jackson State. But remember that Jackson State game, they had a lead at one point, and then when Jackson State calmed down and did what they did, they recaptured the lead. Cole Simmons says right now there are more players from the MEAC than the SWAC in the NFL. Yeah, shout out to the MEAC. especially from schools like South Carolina State. South Carolina State has been producing some NFL athletes recently, and they're going to continue to do that. And I noticed it too. I'm looking at all the NFL rosters, South Carolina State, South Carolina State. So their coach doing a good job on developing talent. Jammin' Sports says Gaddy for president. Yeah, shout out to Niles Gaddy. Nat Dat says Grambling is not on JSU's level when it comes to supporting and traveling with our team. We traveled well without Prime. Now you give us Prime, we are going to be building wherever the Tigers go. To Jackson State's credit, and the Jackson State fan base has educated me on this and let me know, and I had to do my research, and they were right. Before Coach Prime got there, Jackson State was on the top of the list of attendance, and they were having losing seasons doing that. So that tells you one thing, that their fans are very loyal. You got to give them that credit. You got to give JSU the credit. Their fans are loyal. Youssef says today on Undisputed, Shannon Sharp showed that LeBron James created the Florida A&M uniforms for men and women basketball team with the LeBron emblem. Yeah, shout out to King James for doing that. All I want to see from King James and like many other athletes, go to the HBCU games. Don't just go there for HBCU Classic, but go there to a game. That would do a lot for recognition, and I think it would be dope. But shout out to LeBron James for doing that for FAMU. FAMU, from marketing to really they're on another level. Jacktown says, damn right, we are loyal. Yeah, JSU's loyal, man. I know some people hate that Jackson State winning right now, but you jokers are loyal, man. I've seen teams and organizations, man, they have a 5-5 year. They're not showing up at all. They're like, man, I'm gonna stay home. Darren Jennings says, I really hope that JSU doesn't have to have a clutch field goal. Man, to the coaching staff, can you please not kick 40-plus yard field goals? Don't do that until you get Trey Glimpse on the roster. Do that. You can do that next year because Trey Glimpse can hit 40-yarders and even a 50-yarder. He can hit that. But these field goal kickers, you might as well, if you're on the opponent's territory in the 40-yard line, punt it or go for it if it's fourth and manageable. But yeah, I was ticked off when I saw that long field goal attempt. I said, what are you doing? You're going to give Texas Southern the field position. Jeffrey Harris says, people criticize Jackson State D for allowing Texas Southern to run wild in the half. Well, if you ever watch Notre Dame versus Navy, the same thing happens until they figure it out. Yeah, that spread option. And they were doing some triple option concepts. JSU hasn't seen that all season. So they had to adjust to it. It's just like if anybody played. Now, it's more. Texas Southern had the more modern version of the triple option. But it's like if you play Army or Navy and you haven't seen that type of style, those things are going to happen. My only problem with JSU was they got to wrap up. And I mean the secondary, they didn't wrap up good enough. But I think that would be corrected. Jammin' Sports says Coach Prime return game on ESPN3. Great blowout. Go Tigers. Hey, Southern gonna come to play. I've been checking Southern out. I like their roster. I like their ground and pound game, but I think they got to be more creative, and they got to use the Ladarius Skelton. And he doesn't have to be the main quarterback. As we know, the main quarterback is Glendon McDaniel. And Glendon McDaniel, no matter what you say about him, he has 9 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. So it shows that he takes care of the football. And he made big plays against Alcorn when they put off the upset. So just use Ladarius Skelton, wildcat, slot receiver, dual back set. Be creative. Don't be one dimensional. That's my only advice to the Southern. And Jordan Lewis, if he's coming back, that's going to be a big help. Coach Rollins in the press conference mentioned, like I said earlier on the show, that a couple of players that was missing time will come back. So that tells the viewer and everybody is listening that this will be Southern's full strength roster. This will be a good challenge, but challenges make champions. And Jackson State wouldn't have it any other way. Tim Clemens says secondary always going for the big hit. Yeah, again, they try to make that wild play. Sometimes the simple play is the best play. The simple play is the best play. But man, this is a great show. I feel the love from everybody, and I know we talk about the importance of Coach Palmer a lot when it's deservedly done. But I got to reiterate what Coach Prime has done for HBCUs, Jackson State, and look at the content creating. Now, I was around before the SWAC content. As you know, I was talking about basketball, solid following. But when I talk about the SWAC and HBCU sports, man, this is fun. Because I'm talking to people like I'm talking to my cousins, my uncles, my parents, my brothers and sisters. It's like one big family, and that's what it's created. Jackson State Southern, a battle of epic proportions. The team who wants it will win the game. To the fans of both teams, rep your school no matter what. Be respectful. That's the most important thing. You can talk trash, it's part of the game. But be cordial. Know that we're all one people. And it's all love. And let's show ESPN and other power conglomerates that HBCUs and the SWAC can put on a show. Now ESPN, you're gonna have to do some more being about it than lip service. You do these promos talking about you love HBCUs and you appreciate black colleges. But why is every time these games are on ESPN, the audio and the visuals are effed up? But if you did that to Alabama versus LSU, you would have had everybody and their mama calling out ESPN. So that's why you make sure their stuff is right. But when Southern's playing, when Jackson State's playing, when Pearview A&M's playing, when FAMU's playing, when Bethune is playing, Alcorn, Arkansas Pine Bluff, Alabama State, Texas Southern, you name it. When they're playing, you guys at ESPN are like, oh well, we don't have to put on the best product. This is only an HBCU. See, that's what I'm talking about. There's got to be a new channel, a new network that appreciates our culture and our talent. In ESPN, you have not done that. You have not done it at all, and it's been an embarrassment. This is what Coach Prom is talking about, leveling the playing field. We got a long way to go, but I like the future of this team. Of this movement. I love it. Nate Ward says JSU and Southern game atmosphere will be epic. Throw the standings out the window. This is a rivalry game. It's a true rivalry. Talk to them. Whatever record these two teams have, throw it out. This will be a physical matchup. There's going to be some hidden. There's going to be some shit talking. There's going to be the bands playing. It's going to be hype. The fans are going to be pumped and jumped up. The barbecue's going to be lit. The tailgate is going to be on point. It's going to be a show, baby. It is going to be a show. Y'all hit the like button. Share this video with your friend, family, or even a foe that you know. This is Raw Truth. This is the Raw Truth family. Giving you the the rawest content that you deservedly need. Peace, blessings, love to everybody. Shout out to all HBCU SWAC teams. Shout out to the content creators, Tomorrow Sports Network, the CFO Podcast, SWAC Buzz, SWAC TV, Cut Day Sports, and many others. And I'm out.